Hello, I'm XuriTT and today I will be talking about the Pokemon trading card game, as we currently have the 25th anniversary of its English premiere. This will not be a detailed history of the Pokemon TCG, you can find several different approaches to this topic on YouTube. I decided I will do it more in my own style, with some personal memories, a lot of trivia, spiced with two less typical points of view. One is the focusing of turtles and the other one is the fact that I am from Poland. According to Bulbapedia, the Japanese base set was released on October 20, 1996, but the date we are interested in is the release of the English version, January 9, 1999. That's 25 years ago. The first base set, was released in 10 languages, of course in Japanese and English. The other versions are Dutch, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean and Chinese. Small trivia. In Canada, cards were sold in English, imported from our southern neighbor, and in Quebec, cards were also sold in French. Cards prepared for the French market were imported. Of course, the list of languages is not the same as the list of countries cards were sold. They were available in English in many countries, for example in Russia and Poland. I started with cards in English well over 20 years ago. The Zap Starters deck bought in the macro happy market was the beginning of my adventure with the card game. But since my knowledge of English was non-existent at that time, the cards were only for collection purposes. The amount of HP and damage that Pokemon did and what energy he requires, that I understood, but the additional text was beyond my understanding. But hey, I collected. I wrote the cards were the smallest part of my collection. I gained mainly much cheaper Tazos and stickers. A solid portion of memories. It was a long time ago, in the times of internet cafes. One of them in the city where I lived was located in this now abandoned forest place. It sold boosters with Pokemon cards and two of my early Pokemon memories are about this place. The first one was when I was there with a friend. He bought a pack of base set and got Venusaur. A card that then and now I thought was ugly. I love the Bulbasaur evolution line. So maybe this card is ugly, but how shiny it was, how holographic. What a hit. Additionally, my friend received one Tazo from a friend of a person working in a cafe. This guy just found it in the chips he was eating. I remember that it was a Staryu. Memory can be strange, it's been so long and I remember it perfectly. I never bought any pack myself, it was too expensive for me. The second memory is probably the beginning of my love for Aerodactyl. This shop/cafe has a fossil poster in the window. It's hard for me to say which one, googling shows many possibilities, but there was a picture of Aerodactyl on it. Not the Aerodactyl card, but the picture of the Pokemon itself, so it could have been one of these with blasters or not. I watched it in the window many times. There have been a lot of ideas over these 25 years. The game's core is quite similar to its beginnings, but over 3 years a lot of different mechanics have appeared, which from the point of view of the standard format come and go away. In the past, Blastoise, for example, appeared only as a Stage 2 card, but with the appearance of the EX card, it also began to appear as a basic Pokemon. In addition to the mentioned EX, there were also cards like Legend, Break, GX, Tag Team, V, VMAX, V-Union, Prism Star, Radiant, and cards with other some types like Ultra Beast, Fusion Strike, Rapid Strike, Single Strike, Future, Ancient. And these are just the ideas related to Pokemon. Energy cards also get more extensive mechanics related to them, and trainer cards in general get like hundreds of new mechanics. Figuring out how all these cards can be combined is one of the things I love about Pokemon TCG. Especially as an expanded format player, when a trainer card from a currently released expansion can make a great combo with one energy card from 10 years ago and a Pokemon card from 5 years ago. It's like chess, only the number of possibilities is much greater. Coming back to my childhood memories, of course, related to Pokemon cards, I have two more. First one, I remember how at my grandma's Singaporean town, in one shop you could buy, then I thought they were much cheaper and better Pokemon cards because each package was hollow. And as I mentioned it, much cheaper. Only later I learned that the cards were fake. Another personal memory from this time. At one time someone at school has these brand new, wow, cool cards. Yeah, cards from the Gym Heroes expansion with the names of trainers we knew from anime. Returning to more general information, Wizards of the Coast released 15 regular sets from base set to Skyreach, 2 promo set, Southern Island with our turtle, and best of game cards, and a whole range of Black Star promo cards. I still remember how a long time ago, in now of course non-existent Full store, I watched a Warhouse tape of a Mewtwo movie that has an amazing, great looking Mewtwo card. I will add that the sticker on the box itself was probably relatively small, like on the English edition, so the card has an additional aspect of mystery for the young me. When Wizards of the Coast lost the license, the cards were published by the Pokemon Company and they continue to do so to this day. Quality control varies. Personally, the worst I've come across are poorly centered cards, but every once in a while you can find something unique in a pack. I have a Tirtuga card purchased at the card market with uncut corners on one side, a rather simple but also cheap example. Collectors can pay really good money for the most unusual cards with errors. Back to my childhood again, I remember my first encounter with the idea of mistakes on cards. In issue 3, 2002 of the Polish Kawaii magazine, there was an article about Pokemon TCG with a mention of popular misprints. I immediately went to check all my cards and looked for some with an error, but all of them were the correct one, of course. Over the years, many cards have gained value, and the price of which card graded by PSA or CGC or Beckett 5th edition Charizards are sold are astronomical. As I mentioned at the beginning, I offered a turtle perspective, so a few words about the most unusual cards related to turtles. My favorite and a real card from which I have to start will definitely be this Blastoise. Already from the front it looks unusual. People more familiar with the game know that there was never been such a picture of Blastoise on an English language card, and that is a fact. It's a picture published only on Japanese card. But the real woo is when you turn the card over and see the back is a back of a Magic the Gathering card. This was created as part of testing, of course. The above mentioned Blastoise is extremely rare and valuable, but still it exists on the market, which cannot be said, for example, about the Japanese World Turtle card from the sample set. Several pieces were created to promote the e-reader, but they never hit the market. Among the rarer ones, it is also worth to mention the Champions Festival card. They have been created every year since 2013 and given to people participating in the World Championship. Every year it has the same text but with a new image. The turtles appear twice, in the 2016 and 2019 versions, where there is a micro image from the 2016 version. These cards come in many versions. Depending on the results, the rarest is, of course, the version received by the winner, champion. In addition to the version with additional marking and the version with information about what stage of the competition the player has reached, a special version with the staff stamp was given to, well, staff. There's something happening with Tropical Wind, also a case related to the championship. The 2007 version has started from Psynoch, and Turtic. As the cards from the championship show, as a collector of cards with a given Pokemon, you have to be vigilant. Just getting all cards with the name of the Pokemon in the name doesn't necessarily mean you get them all. Apart from special cards such as these from Championship, there are also interesting cards in regular boosters, such as Chansey or Flowers from Lady, where a Squirtle watering can appears, Aerodactyl V, where you can see Tirtuga, or Pikachu, where Blastoise stands in the background. I will describe all such cases of unusual turtle cards in a separate video, of course. Again, a bit of personal information and a bit of Polish perspective. As I mentioned, cards in Poland were available in English. Their availability varied in different times. It increased with the speed of internet, of course, and today it's almost like in the rest of the world. Along the way, we had an interesting episode that I want to mention. With the release of the Diamond and Pearl era, TM Toys decided it was good business and we got the Polish language version. But this version of the card game wasn't a success. I only bought 2 or 3 boosters when they were available in the checkout in the Żabka store for about 20 of their normal price or something like that. 2 expansions were released. Base set Diamond and Pearl, translated as Diamant i Perła, and Mysterious Treasures, translated as Tajemne Skarby. All 3 decks from the Diamond and Pearl were also reset in Polish. This means that the only turtles you can get in Polish are Turtwig and his evolutionary line. A total number of 11 cards. Turtwig, Grottle, Torterra, Switch and Excavation. This is 5 cards. Each of these cards in the reverse holo version, so it is 10 cards. And the rarest one, Torterra level X. The last card is very rare. I followed the market for a couple of years and I hadn't seen any for sale. Even finding a photo of it and confirming that it was published in Polish took me a lot of time, about an hour of researching without any exaggeration. In addition to the cards from these two expansions, there is only one more card in Polish language, released in 2010 as part of Pikachu World Collection. I tried to verify this and it seems to me that it will not be the exaggeration to say that this makes Polish Pokemon cards the smallest of the language version. Other languages either did not receive them at all, or if they didn't stay on the market, they were dropped after a longer presence. Only 2 expansions and 3 decks is probably a record. As I mentioned, I didn't play as a kid because I didn't understand the cards. It took me many years to play my first legit match. But once I got into it, I loved it. However, it was not a face-to-face game, but battles in Pokemon TCG online. I started in 2020 due to new events in the world, and I was completely absorbed. I actually only played in the expanded format because if I'm going to play, I will play with Turtle Pokemon, and in the standard it wasn't really possible to put together a competitive deck based on the shared Pokemon. I will definitely talk about my 3 decks in a separate video, so now only shortly. I had 3, Water one based on Blastoise, a Fire one based on Turtonator and Torkoal, and a Grass deck with a slightly cheated Turtleness, because the main power was Torterra, but it used its support roles Ditto and Venusaur. Unfortunately, I don't play anymore. Pokemon TCG Online was turned off half a year ago, and TCG Live still didn't have the expanded format at all. Now it has it, but it's still incomplete. You can only use cards from the Sun and Moon era or newer. And I had some cards from earlier expansion that were very important for my decks. During these 25 years of the history of English language Pokemon cards, a lot of them has been released. Too many to count them quickly. In the article on the website dexerto.com, the author said that counting to the Obsidian Flames, there were 15,078 cards, and they only added cards from all expansion. And for example, there are also Blackstar promos. We had over 200 from the XI era, almost 250 from the Sun and Moon era, and the Sword and Shade era brought over 300 such cards. There are various other card type collections available from McDonald's and breakfast cereals, and then there is the matter of variation, starting with the fact that most of these cards have the reverse holo variants, which greatly increased the number, I think definitely over 20,000. And there are many variations, such as a different holo, a card with a stamp, available in a given store or in some promotion. Yes, there is a lot of Pokemon cards. I think I have a lot of knowledge about cards related to Turtle Pokemon, like really a lot of knowledge. But despite all this, every now and then I learned that there is also an X variant of cards released 10 years ago, for example, available only in the Advent calendar, such as Turtle with Snowflake. A piece of trivia at the end. These cards are popular, so a careful eye can see them on the screen in production not related to Pokemon at all, such as the series Malcolm in the Middle, episode Company Picnic, Part 1, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, episode Love Means Having to Say You Are Sorry, or the movie Wonder. I will say more, they are also present in production related to Pokemon. For example, in the Japanese version of episode 73, Bad to the Bone, you could see cards belonging to James, but in English version they were replaced with photos. But in the second movie, The Power of One, the new card appears in both languages. With this I end, thanks you for watching. I invite and encourage you to share your memories related to the Pokemon TCG in the comments, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!